in, everybody, to the Aegis Rolldown podcast. I'm TheRealHoneyBear, here with some guests. We got Ramen Blitz, we got Expired down below me. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day right after the ACL. But first off, introduce the guest, Ramen Blitz. Tell me, who the heck are you? Why are you here? What do you do?
I am the world-renowned top player of Week 1 of the ACL, and that's my only real accolade.
Yo, you love to see it. But you dabble in TFT then, I would say, right?
Just a little bit. I may have played it like 12 hours straight every day for the past maybe few months, so just a little bit.
Little TFT dabbling. Expired. Who the heck are you, man?
I'm a washed-up StarCraft 2 pro turned team owner for the past 8 years. Now TFT magnum opus, as some would say, an absolute developing prodigy. Best known for my phenomenal performance in Week 1 of AML.
Magnum opus? Is that what you said?
Hold on, let me look that up. That is what I said, but I don't know if I'm sticking to it.
No, you used it right.
No, I used it right. All right, bet.
I'm like, these are way too big of terms for me.
You forgot to say set 8.5 Worlds winner, too.
This is true. Set 9 world champion.
Set 9
10.
world champion.
Set 8.5 ACL champion.
I don't know about
I'm
that.
from the future.
Listen, you can win worlds, but winning ACL is tougher.
That's a different beast.
Set 8 AML champion.
Speaking of champions, Ramen, I've never mentioned this to you before or talked to you about this. Is your name by any chance a Naruto reference?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask. I'm like, I've never
I am
asked
not
that,
about that weeb garbage, let me tell you what.
You don't weeb?
No, I watch so much anime.
Okay,
I was about to say.
There's no way. Oh, what are you watching right now? What's like a good anime you're watching?
Right now, I am too lazy to open Crunchyroll or any pirated anime site, so I just lay there on my phone reading infinite manga and manhwa.
Okay, so you're a manga guy.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on, I'm not like a huge manga guy. What's the difference between manga and manhwa?
Manhwa are Korean webtoons, basically. It's basically manga, but Korean stuff.
And wait,
there's
a
term
different
for
term
China,
for
but
Chinese too, right?
I don't know that one. I've read a few of them, but I don't really know what it is.
Okay. Oh, so I just know there's different terms for everything, and I forget it. Expired, you're an anime guy.
Not as much as you may think.
Whew, almost switched scenes. That's my bad. That's almost. Almost caught it just before I switched it.
Good catch.
Wait, are you watching anything right now?
No, honestly, what am I watching right now? I'm literally watching nothing. I think I watch Mentor Pilot on YouTube, and that's like the extent of it right now.
Yeah,
that's literally it.
What are those? What did you do to him?
He's changing my face.
Oh my god.
We have the face change.
He holds all the cards.
We have the quick face change here.
8 p.m.
Yeah, Shock Expired over there. With the anime conversation. Something that I haven't got to talk about with Lawrence. He's not a weeb. He is a weeb, but he's definitely not. He's a wannabe weeb. But Blue Lock, I've been really getting into sports anime, and Blue Lock's been crushing it. Have you watched that at all, Ramen?
I have not, but I've heard Blue Lock is like Haikyuu if Haikyuu was just pure chaos incarnate.
Yes. Are you a Haikyuu fan?
No, I don't really watch sports anime. I'm usually like a fantasy kind of guy.
Kuroko no Basket?
Nope.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, find your way into those. Dive into the sports anime, because once you get in, it's like, okay, this feels good. It's just a
the
fantasy,
only sport
but in real
I
life.
care about is team fight tactics.
Chad.
Feels phenomenal, man. But you're a fantasy guy. What's like, before we move on, maybe number 1 or 1, 2, 3 if like you have to. Best anime of all time.
I don't know if it's the best, but my straight up favorite is Code Geass.
Okay.
Madoka Magica is somewhere in the top 3.
I feel like with it,
Last
I
one.
have to hear Steins Gate, because I feel like Steins Gate goes right
I actually
along
never
with...
watched Steins Gate.
You've never seen Steins Gate?
That's something I really need to get to.
watch
Everyone
it
tells
now.
me to.
because the animation's not going to hold up for many more years.
I've
It's
tried
not
to
gonna
get
hold
into Gundam so many times, but I can't do it because of the animation. It's too
Yep.
rough.
Yeah, watch it now, like tonight. Watch this anime because it's not gonna hold up. It's a yikes.
My third would
watch
probably
Blue
be
Lock, I
some
promise.
Fate anime, maybe the third Heaven's Feel movie.
Fate, you said?
I'm a huge Fate fan.
Okay, like all Fate, or do you think some Fate is garbage?
Well, some of it is garbage, but I'm like very embedded into like the fandom. Like I've watched every single thing, read every single thing, almost.
Okay. I mean, the Fate series has some of the like. I feel like we're spoiled with the Fate series animation. It's so good that like you flip to some other fantasy anime and it just does not compete.
Yeah, I
it's like,
noticed that because I went on this insane isekai binge on Crunchyroll. Just click the tag for isekai and watched everything, and it's
Yes.
like I went from UFO Table, like Unlimited Blade Works, most insane fight scenes in the world,
Yeah.
and then I watched this like low budget like Disney Channel sitcom level production, a garbage isekai. It's so bad.
It like if you take some of the Fate fights and then you look at like, have you watched Naruto?
I have, yeah.
So like, no offense to Naruto, great anime, but some of those action scenes, like the animation's just god awful, and then you flip back and you're like, this is what it could have been. Like
It's like
it could have been this.
You look at all the old head like comic panel almost Naruto fights, and then you take a look later at like Shippuden with like Guy versus Madara, and it's like, oh, that's a fight.
Yes. Yeah, but the end of the pain fight, it's not. Ugh. Jeez. They just like they ran out of budget or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They ran out of something.
Any of the like long form like huge 5 million episode anime, Naruto, Bleach, whatever, looks so bad half the time, which made the new Bleach season very good.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna be honest, have not seen it. I actually never caught up on Bleach. Never watched the whole thing.
That's fair. I'm not like, if you haven't caught up on any of these several hundred episode anime, like that just means you're a better person.
I will preface for anybody who doesn't know me, I am a dubbed watcher. I watch dubbed. Roast me if you need
What is
to, but
wrong
dubbed
with you?
is superior in my opinion for my lifestyle. So I watch dubbed. I don't care if
This
you watch
is
dubbed.
something
It's great, but
I've always wanted to say ever since you said that. I used to think anime was cringe and never funny. I thought comedy anime was the most garbage, inhumane,
Really?
sweatshop, forced to watch thing ever. And then I watched a comedy anime in dub, and it's like, wow, turns out delivery matters when you're delivering a joke.
That's really
That's
funny.
crazy. So I think any comedy anime is unwatchable subbed. Straight
that's
up.
fair.
The real question is, have you seen the abridged series of DBZ?
Of course. That's the
Classic.
goat.
Yes. Delivery is perfect on every beat.
That's pretty funny. I've been I fell into some DBZ TikToks lately.
Haven't
and
we
it's-
all?
Yeah, it's just once you start and you like one, then it's like they flood in and you're like, oh, this is great. I would wish that I could get out of that phase, but they're still great, so I keep liking them. But the Tournament of Power, we watched Super.
Of course.
So Tournament of Power, Frieza versus Jiren, they had like a dub over of Frieza talking about power levels with Jiren.
Oh yeah.
Going
I know what you're
like,
talking about.
what's the power level of your family? Nothing, because they're dead.
They're
like,
dead.
what's the power level of
They're
grandma?
dead.
Like, grandma. Like, what's grandma's power level in the ground? Nothing. I'm like, oh, that's so good. Oh man.
I feel like Team 4-Star evolved fan dubs to like an insane degree, and now like they're
Yes.
all very good quality.
Full agree.
Huge agree.
If they made like, I almost wish that dubbed was a little bit slower so that like they could collab with like whoever's doing it, Funimation, Crunchyroll, YouTube or Netflix or whatever. Like they'd collab a little bit and find some really funny things. As long as the creators are okay with it, right? Because like obviously the creator has to be okay with you changing the lines.
Especially
but man,
ghost stories.
there are some funny lines.
no.
Oh, Ghost Stories! I haven't seen it. I just know that they said, "Screw it, write whatever you want." Is that
It's
correct?
wild. Yeah, because it flopped so hard in Japan that what they just gave the dub writers like free reign to do whatever they wanted.
Is
And it shows.
Is it worth watching? Is it good enough to watch?
It's very funny.
Okay.
It's very funny.
All right, I'll end up giving it a shout. But you know what? Speaking of that, we should probably actually move on to meta news, because we've talked anime way too long. But the biggest thing with meta news right now that I want to briefly touch on, or make any points that we want to, is Defender Cup was happening. Big event. It was the first event for North American professional quote unquote play, and we had quite a substantial amount of Aegis players in there. I believe we actually had 10 players make it to day one, which is by far the most we've ever had. One of them is still going. So if you guys have not checked out Defender Cup, check it out. You can even leave here and watch the VOD afterwards, because Pitsy is still on a roll, I believe. Unless they've made like a cut to game 5 and he didn't make it. Don't know, but he is on a roll right now, so go check out Pitsy playing over there. And still rocking day 4 of the Defender Cup.
I believe Pitsy's still middle of the pack, and there's still 3 games to go.
Is there still 3?
Yes, there's 4. Oh no, there's only 5 games. So 2 more games left.
2 games?
He's right behind Soju right now in 18th, according to the sheet.
Okay. And it's lobby 6 keeps the points, right? Is that correct? Or game 6 keeps the points, and then it's just top 8 play?
I'm unsure if this. I don't actually know the format. So there's a 6th game for the top 8 then?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Huh.
I imagine they would reset it.
Somebody
but
in chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I actually don't think there's a reset. I think it's just full go through.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Man, I hope not. If Pitsy comes in an 8th, I would like a full reset. Give him a chance to win. That'd be sick. That would be the second time we've had an Aegis player win, a huge event like this. Scipius being the first, winning the Golden Spatula last set, and then Pitsy looking to be the second player to ever do that for, being an ACL player, if you will, which is just insane.
I mean, Pitsy farmed ACL last week.
I mean, you know who farmed harder?
Say it.
I don't actually know. I don't know. Expired, do you remember? I don't remember. Some washed up
put
guy.
Some thought into it.
Some washed up player. Doesn't even keep a Naruto reference in his name.
Was it some guy named Soup? That doesn't seem right.
Oh, Soupy Lightning? I think that guy, yeah.
I think it was Soupy Lightning. Took the words out of my mouth.
Wait, do you have a Smurf named Soupy Lightning?
No, I don't. I should make it though. Where someone steals it. Yeah,
go snag it. Insta Soupy Lightning. If I'm looking at my games and I find a Soupy Lightning into my their way into my solo queue, I'm scared.
Just know you're getting farmed.
I'm scared. Oh my gosh, that's phenomenal.
Bring it, Soupy.
Yeah, some of the we had a ton of players actually make it through. I don't want people to feel sad if they got day 1, because I think it's extremely cool that we got day 1, or people got into day 1. So shout out to anybody who made it there. Trade, big shout out to him moving on, making it to day 3. Just missed out on day 4, which was heartbreaking if anybody watched it. You two said you didn't watch it, correct?
I was watching AML and ACL the whole time. Well, playing an ACL the whole time.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So Trade actually lost out by 1 point. So that was a heartbreaker to miss it. Last game, he ended up getting 7th and missed out by the 1 point. So yeah, what a heartbreaker. It felt like because day 1 we had like Keynes, Cramsey, those guys
Jesus
sitting
Timo.
around it as well. Jesus Timo.
Yep.
Within. So we had Cramsey, Keynes within, all at 25 points with the cutoff being 27. And it's like, that sucked. Like that they're all right there.
That was a knife to the chest for sure. That hurt.
Not making it through. Yep. But yeah, and then Jesus Timo, KPK was also in there. Big shout out to KPK. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize. There's a lot of names in there. Ramen, are you making it next round? Is that a goal of yours?
For a Corruption Cup, you mean?
Corruption Cup, yep.
Some things aren't looking so good in these reptilian right game minds. Like, I'm down. I think I'm under 200 LP right now, somehow, which is very cool of me.
Is Expired going to pass you?
Yes.
It's possible. It's very possible. I mean, it's definitely a goal. I'm assuming that I don't actually know the second cup in the set, like the LP threshold usually, but I imagine it's going to be closer to 1000 LP. So I feel so that's my current goal, but of course it's a bit of a struggle right now.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, how bad I do in solo queue is inversely indicative of how well I do in ACL. So we take the small victories.
Yeah, so it's looking good this week then for you to climb?
Well, I did above average, meaning I'll do slightly below average in solo queue.
Okay, that's fair.
True.
That's fair. Expired, where are you at in solo queue? How's the climb going?
Cutting. I feel like the bell curve of ranked players has caught up to me now, and some of these lobbies are just absolute clowns. But then I still have my low games where it's like, oh, I should not be playing when I'm this tired. I just went 7th. Whoops. I shouldn't have done that.
That's a rip.
But outside of that, I feel like as long as I keep a good streak together, it'll be pretty easy to skyrocket at least a couple hundred before I'm back to the level where Master Zero was a month ago. And then I might plateau and hit another wall in terms of skill. Also, I'm not passing Ramen. That was a joke. Not happening. He's going to get up to 1K later this week.
Maybe at the new patch. after I'm done with this podcast, I'm not playing TFT. I am playing Fire Emblem because that just came out.
Maybe I will pass him. Me set, me no pivot, no scout. Cloak opener always.
So if you're looking to play some solo queue, Ramen won't be there, so that's one less person you have to worry about. So there it is.
Every time I encounter an ACL player in solo queue, I just get farmed.
Do you?
I found Knickknack 19, I think his name is, on solo queue like a day ago. I went fast 8th.
I mean, this is no surprise to anyone. Anytime I find ACL members in solo queue, I also get farmed.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew?
I expect you to farm them.
I don't see them anymore. They're all gone. But yeah, back in the early season, I was like, son of a gun. Like, how in the world is Big Bro Keens in my lobby? Like, this is not fair. I don't feel good.
I run into AML players from time to time. They're always very friendly, but I've had very good luck against them because I have yet to about 4 with them in my lobby, and I think the 2 or 3 times I have both were firsts.
Feels great, man.
For sure.
That's a feels
It's just
awesome.
luck. It's just my turn with luck, that's all.
Ramen, you told me you were gonna come prepared with the highest tech of meta. Do you prepare anything? What are we seeing? What's like the solo queue wonder right now? What should people be looking for to play?
Let me preface by saying I spent all day yesterday, like let's say 12, 13 hours just grinding solo queue in the inhospitable mines. And all I learned was that Jack sucks. I tried. Because if you guys watched the Soju tournament a few days ago, I think it was Solus just kind of farmed everybody with Jax, and I could not get that to work. I think I'm down. I was down 100 LP on the day just trying to figure it out. But other than that, it's just the usual. MF, set, either set or pranksters for your front line. LeBlanc 3 is kind of sick, but other than that, it feels very samey as last week.
Just run set.
Just run set.
Just run set. Play Ace, play Sure Shot Samira.
Ace, Samira, is that it? It feels honestly, watching the games, it feels like that's it. Unless like you hit a Zoe augment or something, you get a hard emblem, like you can run that. But it's like reroll comps.
Renegade is also very good.
Renegade's good.
I played my last ACL game was the sickest board I've ever built. It's just 4 recon, but one of those recons is Viego. Plus I had a Renegade spat. So I was just running 3 Renegade, 4 recon with a Viego for some reason. That thing was cool. Then I got
That is
Z3'd,
horrible.
and I was like, oh, okay, fun's over.
That gives me nightmares. That sounds really scary to play against. I don't want to position against the
It
Viego
was
with
so
a recon
funny.
spat.
Viego runs away, then whoop, slams in.
What is, just a curiosity for myself, for Lawrence, and any other rerollers out there? What's the best one cost reroll right now? What do you reroll?
It has to be Talon. Talon reroll is even without either Talon augment, either Camille augment, or Viego augments. Talon reroll, it's just so crazy. If you hit Talon 3 early enough, you basically have a free level 8. And from then, it's probably the most flexible reroll in the game, because now you can reroll Camille if you hit a lot of Camille's and admin's good. Now you can play Viego and duo carry Viego. Now you can vertical Ox Force, or now you can go 6 Renegade. There's just so many possibilities with Talon reroll. It's like the least brain dead comp there is. That's the only way I could describe it.
Deals.
You
Expired.
don't have a corner anymore.
I'm gonna put you on the real hot spot here, Expired. You ready for it?
Go for it.
All right. What do you reroll if it's not? What one cost reroll if it's not Talon? The world is awaiting your answer.
I mean, it's probably got to be Ashernectin. If
And
it's not
can you
Talon
still
and you're
run that?
forcing me, yeah, well, because Laser Core is decent for tempo. But if you're holding a gun to my head and you're forcing me to not reroll Talon, but it has to be a one cost, it's probably got to be Ashernectin.
Okay.
Or Silas, just to spite you and still play the Renegade line. Honestly,
You still
actually
get
changing
it.
my answer to Silas. Yeah, you still get it. You
No,
just
no, no,
I'm
allow
running
your enemies to have a
Ashernectin.
corner.
We're gonna have everybody in solo queue that's like diamond below is gonna be running Ashernectin. Good luck. Expired says it's great.
Oh, chat's right. Wukong and Lulu, they are brazy. I got farmed by a growth spurt Lulu like this morning. That thing is insane.
You
So
hit the
I thought
auger
your
for
answer
that?
was gonna be Wukong. I feel like Wukong is a solid one.
I feel like with
Wukong's good
Wukong,
even
I'm not
without
really rolling for him though. I'm like just looking to sack him for set leader.
Why
Unless
can't you
they're
just roll
Cyclone.
him?
No Cyclone.
I mean, can you run Wukong with like a rapid fire cannon, Ginsu's, any damage item in the back line, and just let him go?
Don't run RFC Wukong.
Why
it's
not?
like
You can't
running
run RFC
RFC on
Wukong?
Lulu. You can't cast.
Yeah, you don't need a cast. What do you need a cast for? Let him bonk.
True.
Just bonking. We
Let
love
him
Bonky Kong.
bonk.
Bonk is good.
Does this cast do anything? I mean, it does, but like, does it actually? Like, I'm not convinced.
The first
No,
time
definitely
you
not.
get Cyclone Wukong supered is the day you change as a man.
All right, what if I just start doing it to people? Maybe that's what I need.
Same thing.
Super Wukong, just slapping everybody. What's the Wukong items? What are we building?
I imagine BT Titan's Ionic Spark off the top of my head.
That
If you're
doesn't
playing
sound
Cyclone.
carry.
That
I
is
need
carry.
That's
That is
carry.
absolute carry.
Ionic Spark's
Yeah.
carry.
You full heal, you one-shot everybody around you, and then you move on with your life.
Spark is always centered for max shred.
It's why Viego runs Spark all the time. It's like it's Biss if you can't have it on a tank.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, there's my solo queue adventures that I'm going to be running from this point forward.
Oh no.
Only monkey.
That's all right. Hey, I'm P. What am I? Plat 2? I'm good. I can run anything in Plat 2. I'm playing
True.
Plat 2 on my phone, like while holding a child on my chest. So it's like I'm not worried.
Mobile gamer buff.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of which, let's slide on in. Weeklies, we actually did not have a weekly this time around, so no weeklies. Weekly should be back this week, so be on the lookout in the Discord. For some admin, one of the admins, pinging about the weekly. But moving on to AML, ACL, AAL. Is there one you guys want to start with? Do you guys want to start with AAL because it was the lowest league and kind of work our way up?
I'm down.
Thing. Admittedly, I am not the most familiar with AAL, but I've been looking at these at the scoreboard, the group standings, and the top half is very, very close.
Very close. By any chance have you looked at some of the players, because they're looking at the top. I personally am shocked when I look at these players thinking this is, it's a diamond league, quote unquote. There are a few Masters players in there, people who are hitting Masters now. But there are, I believe, 3 or 4 of the top 8 are plat players.
Yeah, they're really farming. I guess it just goes to show flat diamond, no diff, I guess. Because they
Focus
are
is a Masters player.
Did he just hit Masters? Is that why he's in here?
He barely hit Masters before. So we allowed him to come in. So it was like touched Masters and then went like 10 LP 00000 10 LP 0000. We're like, you're good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, we're not gonna argue it too much. He's like, I'm just gonna get farmed. I have friends in the other lobby, so I'm like, okay, we make exceptions wherever possible. And so, but yeah, he's doing really well for himself. But then you have somebody like Blue Nose. I think is what his name is.
Blue Nose 2, yeah.
Blue Nose 2. Yep. Just hit D4. He's 345 games in. And so it took him 340 games to hit D4. So grinding player, somebody who is, a true D4 player, top in the lobbies. I'm like, well done. That's freaking awesome. And I really hope that a player like this can hit Masters.
I imagine the existence of a league like the AAL is extremely rewarding to players like this, just grinding, finally hitting their goal of Diamond 4, and now they have a place to show off their skills, and that's the AAL.
Not to mention, this guy, looking at his history too, like he's always been Plat 1 D4, Plat 3 P1, P1, P1. Like since set 1, he's always been either Plat or Diamond. There's been no exceptions. So being able to like prove to yourself that you can actually compete, that would do wonders for my morale. I would bet good money that he's going to hit Master if he puts in work on ladder this season.
I really hope so, because players like this, and obviously this is, I don't want to call it like a farming ground, but it kind of is to work your way from the AAL into the AML. Same thing for the AML, work your way, up to the ACL at some time. And it's like that easy stepping stone, if you will. And watching these players and getting to see their improvement throughout the weeks, and just looking at all the stats from before, these are the guys that I'm like, oh, like you're so close. Like if you can compete already in a league, you have a chance to hit, to do decent in AML. You just have to, get the solo queue luck or put the solo queue grind in and make your way to it.
Couldn't agree more.
For sure. Some other players I want to shout out. We have some old school players who have been here forever. Fire Hedgehog still making it into playoffs. Batman is hanging out, making it to playoffs right now. Looking forward to continue to watch those guys play. Have either of you ever had an opportunity to play with Fiery Hedgehog or Batman?
I have with CG Batman, I think in a weekly. I don't quite remember.
I'm pretty sure I played CG Batman a single time on PvE ladder this set, and that was it.
Oh, that's fine. Well, hey, at least you know the name. Yeah, good guys, been around for a while, played in the AML. Actually, I believe Batman played in the first league when it was just one. So happy to see they actually have like a league that's their skill right now, finding themselves in the AAL. Even though last year or 2 sets ago, they did really well in the AML, didn't do as well this last set, so decided to go to the AAL. But excited to see them keep going. However, anybody else you guys want to shout out with that, or ready to move on to AML?
Good to move on.
I'm happy to move on. I'm excited to see AAL playoffs, with that being said. I hope it's broadcast somewhere for that part.
It will not be.
Unlucky.
I don't think so. If we can swing it, we will. It's not that we don't want to. It's just it is also played at the same time of AML. So it's hard to actually get it streamed. So
you can only have so much bandwidth to begin with. I get it.
Correct. There is talk, I'll do the little spoiler, of trying to get people's POVs for that, so we have an opportunity to kind of peek in, if you will, of just kind of gently look while we're at an intermission, or get an analyst test going, so where we can peek in to the AAL to talk about some of these players, especially some of the players who are up there at the top, because hopefully we're going to see them in the AML next set, so on the broadcast, and Kind of like League of Legends does it, with their academy stuff. Hoping to get to see those players move forward. So giving them a little bit of screen time is always lovely. But anyways, enough talking about the AAL. AML expired. What the heck's going on in the AML?
Oh man, you want to hear about my week?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear about. How did your week go, man?
Terribly. I got AT&T gapped, bro. I wake up to no internet again for the second day. Yeah, after it was working the previous day because someone ran their car into an internet box, which caused an outage in my entire area. And so it only got fixed in time for me to join my second lobby, where I was still mental boomed, not from low roll, but from AT&T. So I think my point total was an automatic 8th in game 1. I got 3 points in game 2, and then I went 8th again in game 3, and then I gapped the lobby and went first in my last game of the week, where I was like actually out of mental boom mode. So I limped into an acceptable finish.
Give you the acceptable finish, expired face.
Exactly.
That's what
it's
I would
good
see.
enough. Yeah. Look, I'm still gonna top 8 at the end of the set, or at the end of the season rather. I'm not too worried. It sucks to have a down week like this, but also to finish it out with a first and make it tenable is pretty good. I also think AML is really, really tight on the top end. Like between 8th, 45 points, and me, 34 points, is 11-point diff. So I could very easily make it up in a week. I just need to actually have internet and have good mental, like I usually do.
Yeah, all you need is the one good week, and you're right in top 8 contention.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like middle of the pack is also super tight, with you being tied with 4 other players or 3 other players.
Yeah.
Like that's even like a tight race, right? Like it feels like it's so close at any cutoff point that you want to look at, which is pretty exciting.
Absolutely. I just feel good. August is ahead of me, and I know I'm going to gap him. And I mean, I hope Dot's in my lobby next week. That's all I'm going to say. It's always reassuring when you get, these super easy players in your lobby that you play with all the time. You know them super well. Also, I just wanted to shout out Asami Ray or Reina.
Right.
She went first in my first lobbies. The first one I didn't even get to see, but she went first. I'm like, whoa, okay. And now she's top 8. Killing it.
She's crushing it.
Absolutely correct.
But I do wanna reach back to August, the terrible player that he is. I am on the personal belief that he is so bad. I don't think we're gonna allow him to play week 1 playoffs. I think we're just gonna push him right to week 2.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's the way to go. You have to give him that buff. Otherwise, how's he going to get there, right? I mean,
yep.
You'll let him into the top 8, and you're guaranteeing me an easier matchup in week 2 myself. So I respect it, and I really appreciate that, to be honest.
Yeah, what a terrible player there. Yeah, gonna find themselves in the top 8. But kind of both of you guys, and I know Ramen, this isn't your area of expertise. What are a player or some of the players that you see in the top 8 that you don't think are actually going to make it to the top 8 at the end of the playoffs? And then is there a players who, kind of in that chunk, in that pack down below, that might find a way to the top 8? Anybody can start.
I can't imagine any of these top 8 players will honestly drop out, but obviously that's entirely dependent on how cracked our performers are down in the bot 40. But like, for example, like Tarzan, I think is just a crazy good player. Looking at all these names, it's Tarzan and Owen that I think are like some of the best players here. Like, which is funny because Owen is currently ranked 30, so I don't really know what's going on. But Owen just like went past 500 LP in solo queue. So I think Owen is at his all-time LP peak, but is probably just, I don't know, he's just throwing or something. He's giving everybody else a chance, but I think Owen and Tarzan are some of the best players here. And then of course Purple Pouring. He's gonna climb up.
He's cracked. Do you think, Owen being like he's definitely not mathematically out of top 8, right? But it is going to be an extremely hard climb in the next 2 weeks if he's actually going to make it. Do you think he's got a chance? I mean, we know he's a good enough player, but do you think he'll make that push?
This is the guy who farmed Setsuko on ladder. He'll make it.
You think so? Top 8?
I think so. It's definitely possible. I mean, honestly, if he sucks at AML, apparently his ladder is better. So if he starts dropping 300 LP in solo queue, then I think Owen's 100% top 8.
Maybe that's the key. You need to start like sniping him and just be like, "You're going to lose. I'm going to beat you."
He's out of my league now. He's 300 LP above me. I can't reach him. I can't
reach
snipe.
That. Woo! I mean, I tried to snipe you the other day. I think we were in call. I was trying to snipe you. Couldn't get there.
It was just unlucky.
Yeah,
I think that's just Riot being Riot.
I'm not sure why they didn't put me in your lobby. We're obviously the same elo, so yeah, I didn't get it.
It just goes to show the insane flaws in the matchmaking systems of TFT. It doesn't make any sense.
Code for sure.
No doubt.
Expired. Same question over to you, man. Who's not making it? Who's making the push for it? You can't say yourself.
I can't say myself?
Nope.
Then there's only 7 to name in the top 8.
I mean, who else is pushing? Who could make that push?
Who are you cutting out of top 8?
Who am I? Okay, starting with who am I cutting out of top 8?
Or a few players. Obviously, all these players are like really good, and they're most likely, if they're not top 8, they're going to be really pushing for it.
I agree.
Who could you see sliding out to give yourself a room?
Honestly, Pouring is awesome. All of these players are awesome, and I think they're great. Just before I even talk about it, but Pouring probably just because he's kind of bottom of the pack. When I'm thinking about this, I'm more so thinking about points and less about where I think their max potential could go, right? Because I think that Ragunas is like 5 points away from having the absolute max. This guy is just an insane high roller. He's cracked at the game. He stole a first from me with a Soraka 3. Still salty from last week, but anyways, I think Tarzan's pretty secure. Ragunas is secure. They have really big point totals. I don't know Moldiver Maniac. Hatch, I could see falling out if he doesn't, like, if there are, I don't know when the next patch is, but if he doesn't adjust to meta changes in the next 2 weeks, I could see him falling out. With that being said, I think August is pushing to top 8 100%. I also really think Dot's going to be right on the edge of it. If he doesn't quite make it, he'll be right there with how much time is left. Trying to think. Also, Skylar's kind of nuts, so I could expect him to have a really swingy week where he places like 1-1, 2, or 1. You know what I mean? Where they have huge really breakout potential. Yeah. And so the further down they are, obviously the better of a week they have to have. But these point totals are so close that if you ask me again at the end of week 3, I still wouldn't really know, because I think the league is so swingy right now on the middle and top end.
For sure. Someone I wanna bring up, because I think for us looking at it, I think it's pretty obvious they're gonna scale. But I'm interested to see when you guys think they're actually gonna start scaling up. Is gonna be Grape and Crazy Pete. Obviously, I hold them both in extremely high regard. I think Pete is a phenomenal player. Grape needs to actually play. But I think Grape is just really good either way. But what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think, one, I do believe they're going to make it to playoffs. I think if you count them out of playoffs, you're crazy. But how far do you think they can go? And at what point do you think they're going to turn it on?
I think I can't speak for Grape because I am not familiar with the meta of World of Warcraft. But for the Crazy Pete, I'm pretty sure next week. Well, does he play next week or do they alternate?
I believe they alternate, but I'm not 100% sure if it's the exact 50-50 split.
Okay. Well, in the next time Crazy Pete plays, he's going to be cracked. Mostly because I told him I would VOD review him, but I still think he's going to be cracked.
I agree. The next week that Pete plays, I think it's going to bring up their average enough. Because I think all that Pete is missing right now after talking to him and discussing his gameplay is like understanding the meta completely, but he's right there. So the next time he plays, I'm kind of expecting an all top fours, and he'll get those hot streak points and launch into playoffs being secured.
For sure.
Cash money.
Cash money.
We didn't name them, but another player I think that we should watch to possibly make it into top 8 from the bot 8 is 4-1. I think that he's actually a pretty good player.
4-1 made it. Did 4-1 make it to finals last set?
I don't quite remember.
I was trying to think about that. Yeah, they're absolutely a phenomenal player. I'm excited to see them move forward. I'm not sure how their solo queue's been going off the top of my head, but a great player. I'm excited to see how far they can go, especially because they're a player that keeps coming back. And we just see them time and time again. So, for sure. And then,
I mean, experience in competitive environments can't be understated to how much it could increase your point total.
Agree.
For sure.
It is a massive difference. This game is completely mental, just like any other competitive title, honestly.
Yeah, it's almost more mental, right? It almost feels like it, because like you have to focus and not make a single mistake. And nothing is, not many comps are just kind of plug and play, don't do anything, walk away from your computer. Especially I feel like right now they're not as, walk away. And so it's interesting to see these minute differences from players, and that just like one small thing can change the entire game.
The big thing is, in my opinion, that you're on this 4-game sprint, right? And if you mental boom game 1 and you go fast 8th and you get the lowest roll of your life, the worst beat, you need to still be able to play the other 3 games. Or your points are screwed. You're going to go 8-8-8-8-8. I think that's really the most important thing, is that endurance and resilience to just turn around and say, well, next. Go
For
next.
sure. Anybody else want to shout out? We're on movie ACL.
I think we talked about everybody that I know. Good for ACL.
Swing on into
Same
ACL.
here.
Just finished. ACL did. There were some studs this week, to say the least. Somebody I want to point out, they were on broadcast. Last Cardax absolutely crushed it. Within, however, I believe took the highest point total of the week and really felt like they were dominating this week.
Honestly, Within farmed me in the lobby we were in.
He was really, really good. He went, let's see, what was it? First, second, and I believe it was it 2 first seconds?
A third.
Oh, he did get one
First,
third.
second,
So
first, third.
first, second, first, third. But what a run from that guy. Just absolutely incredible. And then the last Cardax did have the double firsts in his first 2 games, and then struggled in the second 2 games, getting a fourth and a third. But
at least well enough to top the standings in general, right?
Yeah.
He's 4 points above me. He's currently number 1 in all of ACL.
Yeah, absolutely dominated this week. Super hyped to see. So KPK also, had a good week. Very standard. Had 24 points both weekends. So that's kind of cool to see that they're still up there. And somebody that I think made a slight turnaround was Scipius. I think they did pretty well this week.
I'm looking at Scipius. He has the same exact points this week as he had last week.
Yeah,
He's just consistently good.
Consistently good. Yeah, I guess. 22 and 22.
Yeah.
But finds himself into playoffs.
I have no doubt that Scipius will probably pass all of us. Let's all be real. Let's be realistic. Scipius is gonna go 30 points week 3 and 4, if that's at all possible.
Yeah. 100%.
I think the biggest swing was definitely within, like you mentioned, from 8 points last week to 29 this week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
He just turned him, it just clicked. Just click moment.
Yeah, I am not sure what happened there, but something wild happened.
I mean, mind you, the first week of ACL, that was first day of the new patch, right? Or the B patch? Or was it
B
before
patch.
B patch, right? So not everybody was fully adjusted to it, but given time, all of the players here are challenger caliber. They're all gonna figure it out. They're all gonna have amazing showings.
Yeah, and this was I don't know if this had to play, but it might have been something. Let's see. I don't think they missed any games. Anyways, I don't think Within missed any. No.
Mm-mm.
So it was just a tough week for him. But my thoughts with it was one day after day one of Defender Cup. So I wonder if that had something to do with it. If like nerves were getting to him, he was just like not having a good day. Could have been. So wonder if that was it. But hyped to see them bounce back with a.
Yeah, anyone who got a limited day one of Defender Cup, I just automatically assume they got maybe 5 to 10 less points than they normally would have gotten in ACL, just because of the mental boom. Let's be real.
Yeah, I definitely can't argue with that. It's for sure something.
All mental.
Going through the exact same question here, looking at players in the top 8 here. Is there anybody you guys are thinking like, wow, that player like might drop out? They had some good weeks, but might find their way out. And then is there anybody kind of running down the standings that you're like, that player is going to make a run and they're going to be in the top 8?
It's really hard to say because all these players are so good. Like the only reason I'm gonna say Sevic is because I literally don't know who that is. But I'm pretty sure they're top 8 right now. They have to be a cracked player, right? But since I don't know them, maybe they drop out.
So they're rank 3 on LATAM South.
Okay, they're not dropping. I'm going to say it right now. That's my prediction. They're staying top 8.
That's a pretty good player.
If anything,
that's a name you should know. Now you know him.
I now know. If anything, I'm probably the least clouded player here. Peaked 510 LP. So if anyone's gonna drop, it's probably me. And the people who are gonna take my spot, one of either Shining Star, Keens, Trade, Within, Pitsy. Like these players are too cracked.
Absolutely. Expired, any thoughts?
I mean, at this level, Variance takes more control than almost anything when we're talking about like maybe the top 16 to top 20, right? Because everyone that is established here knows how to play the game at this level, and there are still things they can improve on, I'm sure, but based on the gameplay that I've seen, Variance plays the biggest factor in terms of their decision making and in terms of the point totals within that band specifically. So I think it's a crapshoot, to be honest. I don't think we're going to know who's going to be top 8, and I don't think I have any semblance of a clue until week 4.
For sure. The spread from rank 1 to cut off of playoffs, which is rank 24, is rank 24 is at 37 points. The top performer is at 56, which that might mean absolutely nothing to people. But to put it into context, AML, which we were just saying is very close, the top player is at 59 with the bottom being at 34. So still a little closer, even though the top player of AML does bring it up a few points. It's still very, very close. And even just that 2-point difference or 3-point difference in the spread makes it unbelievably close and tough to call either way. A player I do want to shout out, and just to see like your guys' thoughts on him and if they're gonna make a comeback, is Air 1v9. Are they obviously winner of last set? Are they gonna make a comeback, and or when are they gonna make the comeback and make that big push?
I have to imagine Arrow 1v9 is going to shore it up and come back. Like, there's a reason he went so far last set. I mean, before week 1 of ACL, me and Jesus Timo were peepo shaken at the thought of Arrow possibly being in one of our lobbies. So, if there's anyone who's going to come up, it's him. And of course, Jesus Timo himself. So, we'll see.
For sure.
They need to dig deep. They need to dig deep from these points. Again, once that top band is there, like that 37 on, it's still close, but they still need to dig deep and make sure they're consistent on game day. There's only 8 lobbies left in terms of determining their playoff, whether they make it or not. I just think they need to play in form for all 8 of those lobbies, and I would have no doubt that they'll make it to playoff contention at least, like that top 24 cutoff. Top 8, I don't know.
Inversely, even number 1 right now with Last Card Axe isn't safe at 56 points. Like, per week you can get, like, if you look at his week 2, he got 27 points. I mean, let's say he bought fours every single game. Like, the points are large enough that very easily any of the last place players can come up to the top, and any of us could drop out of top 24 even. It's very easy to happen.
This is true.
For sure. Yeah, fully agree with that. Like, just how volatile it possibly could be. Is there anybody looking on the outside, looking in, that you guys think, needs to start kicking in or might miss out that probably shouldn't? I know I'm looking at it like, I think Cramsey is a phenomenal player. He needs to kick it in a little bit. Obviously, we talked about him, Jesus, Timo, Arrow. Need to kick it in a little bit. But one that I really think, had a blunder of week 1. I know this player was also trying to make it to Defender Cup, so there could be some mental of just working so hard to try to make that. They unfortunately didn't make it, and so it might be like the oh crap, I missed it, and now I got to play ACL. But Chandler, it's Chandler GG or Chandler 14362. I don't know what those numbers stand for, but I think they're an amazing player, and I'm actually shocked to see them down at 39th right there with the 29 points.
This is CPV Andrew, right? Or are we looking
Chandler?
Oh, Chandler.
Yeah, rest in peace. CPV Andrew is actually not playing the set, so R.I.P. Andrew.
Unlucky.
From what I've seen from Chandler, he's pretty cracked. So I would expect him to be one of the players in contention to come up. Yeah, Cramsey for sure. I feel like should be up here. The entire water park crew with Seth Kaiba, Mocha, Renegade, they should be up here. It's honestly, all these players are way too good that it's way too volatile to tell if any of us are staying in top 8.
That's fair. Yeah, peaked last week at 755 LP was Chandler.
Dang.
Yeah, so I think that was his peak anyways, from what I'm seeing here. But yeah, pretty high. I feel like that's I don't know. One, it's tough to get to just 500 in general. But to push it a couple hundred past that is pretty dang good. You'd think it would get you into playoffs, but maybe not.
It's way more than I've ever been able to do. So they're crazy. These players here, I cannot overemphasize enough. They are crazy.
Quick tangent though, Ramen. I don't know if you saw this when I typed in AML general. This was actually before week 1. Did you read when I put down that we had stronger lobbies in the ACL than the Defender Cup?
I did read that.
And that's like it. I mean, it's kind of memey, but it's not actually a meme. Our lobbies, every single lobby was actually stronger than every single lobby in the Defender Cup for week 1 of ACL, based off of, ranks, if you will, average ranks, which is just incredible. Obviously, it's different because we have LATAM players, EU players, North America players. We're pulling from everywhere. But if you look at that, it's insane. Like, obviously players like Sevic pull it up from LATAM South, rank 3. We have a ton of LATAM players that are, pretty nuts. Pie Hat over there, I believe it went like week 1, he was ranked like 12, rank number 9 right now. So just unbelievable players that we found ourselves in there, plus 10 that made it to the Defender Cup. And so it was just really funny to look at that and see that like the ACL is harder to compete in week 1 than even the North American Worlds tournament.
I genuinely consider like ACL was like a baby Worlds in the sense of like there's these like top 10 players from all these different regions, but like obviously we don't have like Korean or Chinese players or Japanese players or anything like that, so we can't fully say that. But when you have so much of the top talent from every other region, it's kind of a crazy experience to be in.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Scipius is rank 8 in EU West right now. Like, they're everywhere. Top players are everywhere. It's crazy. It's nuts. So, Expired, I know you didn't read that, but what are your thoughts on that? Just like hearing it fresh that our lobbies were actually stronger. Does that shock you? Did you see that coming?
Yes and no. I'm surprised that I'm not. I think it's a good. I don't know. I don't want to be surprised by it because, like you mentioned, it's a regional diff. You have players from all over the world, and so there's a bigger sample size. But it definitely surprises me that Defender Cup lobbies were weak enough to be out-strengthened by this, which is a really good thing. It makes me excited for ACL, to be honest, and for me to play in it at some point.
For sure. Yeah, and I would argue that a lot of players, even in the ACL, don't realize how unbelievably competitive it is. And like how blessed we are at Aegis to have so many players from all regions that are coming together to play in this one, massive tournament. And I would love to see, Lorence and I have talked about this in the background of how our ACL and our tournaments are breeding better players for these Worlds formats. And I truly believe it is.
Oh, huge agree. I think you take a necessary space in the ecosystem. I don't really see any other. I'm limited in my knowledge, obviously, but I don't really see any other organizations stepping in the same way. And I think that there was a vacuum before. So it's really important to have a space like this for AM and pro talent to compete consistently when it's not time for Defender Cup and Corrupted Cup and Worlds and so on.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucial.
It just really feels like a hyperbolic time chamber, in all honesty.
It does.
Like, without ACL, I'm pretty sure I'm hard stuck Grandmaster, but because of these players, like, I've talked to a lot of them, I've become friends with a lot of them, I've been elevated to the point where I can finally reach Challenger. So I think it's difficult. You can't understate how the influence of Aegis is as an organization, especially with the ability to pull in talent like Scipius, for example, to play in their leagues.
And, it speaks volumes to say the worst player in the ACL right now is Ramen Blitz. By far the worst player. It's like, that feels pretty good.
That guy's garbage.
That guy sucks.
Great.
That guy's terrible.
I don't know why I let him VOD review me, man.
That Soupy Lightning guy, way better.
Soupy Lightning. I would take Soupy Lightning over Ramen Blitz any day. Like, if there was a draft, I'd pick him.
That's a given.
If there were a draft, he'd be too expensive.
No one could afford him.
No one could afford him.
Ooh. And shoot, I was doing things with the name and forgot to get gotta get the money eyes again.
Cash money, baby.
Money eyes. I would love someday, somehow, if we have the time to put it together, to do fantasy draft for ACL, AML. I would freaking love that. There's so much that you have to put into that in order to make it work. But someday we'll be able to get that going. That
would excite me.
That's like another step.
I will say that a great addition to the broadcast was the whole prediction thing. Like, that's basically your baby fantasy draft.
Yep.
I feel like the predictions are very cool, very funny.
I love the predictions. Especially, because when predictions first rolled out, I didn't know exactly how we were going to do them. We didn't know like what categories we were going to do. We knew we were going to do them. We just hadn't picked the categories yet. And Lorence on his own picked the categories, which you can kind of tell because he gave himself his own category. So I'm just waiting for Lorence to get destroyed. I need him to lose. Yeah, I thought it was funny because when he sent it to me, he's like, "Here are the categories." I'm like, "What the heck? How did you get your own category?" I'm like, "Where's the intern category?" Interns don't even get a category. I don't know why, but rude, man.
My boy Honeybear needs his own category. I'll say it right now. I will protest. I will not play next week in ACL.
Petition. Oh, I don't know if I can. I can't commit that much. I don't know. Hold on. I'm not down.
I'd be at the bottom. I gotta find a good face. Let's go Shocked. Shocked will be good for right now. Yeah. Speaking of which, moving on. But is there anything else you guys want to shout out? ACL, Anybody you guys wanna bring up?
Seth, I'm really surprised to see him bot-2ing right now, and I think it's just because I'm pretty sure week 2 the auto 8th 4, but I would think it would be a pretty cool comeback story, and I know he's got it the potential if he decides to play the set. I don't know if he's taking a break or not, but I could see him making it to playoffs from 22 points on end of week 2.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think that would be a huge shocker. I think they're a great player, but yeah, RIP Seth.
Bring it back, man.
Will he bring it back?
I
Blitz,
hope
you
so.
Drag him back otherwise.
Blitz, you play with him, right?
I think I was in a lobby with him.
You making a comeback?
I mean, Seth Kai was a great player. I would not be surprised in the slightest.
Yes. Are we rooting for the team ambition, guys? I got a soft spot for him.
I think it's really cool.
Okay, Team Ambition skip. Yeah, okay, that's easy.
It's really cool that TA stepped up and got all these guys entry fees. And I have obviously different context or a different background, right? Because I owned orgs for 8 years. So I think it's a good move for them and must make sense financially to have their name on so many different players. And I would like to see that relationship develop further than an entry fee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I've personally been a proprietor. I really would love more teams to step up. I love the team ambition stepping up. I love Mad Kings, stepping up in LATAM. I think that's awesome. I would, again, love to see as many teams as possible step up, get some money into these teams' these players' pocket. I think it's so important. I'm an LCS guy. I love watching the LCS. I watch every single match of the LCS. I'm addicted to it. I just love it. Like, that is my sport now. Like, if I'm, watching a sport, like, I'm watching LCS if I can. Obviously TFT, whenever it's on, but it's not like a big weekly thing besides the fact that I am producing the weekly. But besides that, like, sitting down on my couch on my own, I'll be watching the LCS. And I want to know where some of these teams are. Like, where is Dignitas? Like, why don't they have players? Like, where is, anybody? Name an LCS team. Where the heck are they? We have C9 Soju.
I'm Oregon.
Soju.
Where's
TSM.
everyone else? Where's all the other C9 players? Like,
I mean, I can. I have a tangent on this. If you've got time for it,
run the tangent. I'm ready for it.
That's kind of a bombshell too. I really shouldn't be talking about it on broadcast. I'm going to.
Okay,
anyway.
don't talk about it, Rocket.
No. I'm gonna. It's no. It's within my control. It's within my control. I get to decide.
I'll be the devil on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Do it.
Wait, what face do I need? Is it an angry face? Is it angry?
It's a cash money face, actually.
Cash money.
Yeah, this is a good tangent. So, the past few months, as I've become more incorporated into different TFT communities within Aegis and niche communities like Summer Camp, for example, and just kind of these different circles of people, I've also been trying to assess the other part of my brain and focus on that, where it's like, okay, I'm thinking about all of these individual players as talent, and I'm thinking about it as an org owner. It's like, okay, how much do I pay them? How much do I get back? What am I getting out of that relationship? What are they getting out of that relationship? And I got to the point where, so for context, I'm tentatively maybe seeking funding for an org that starts up this year, but only if I get the capital raise done. Because there's been interest expressed to me in VC and a couple of my friends that are in those kinds of circles, and they've said, hey, why don't you take this sack of money and go run an esports org again? And I said, well, that's a pretty good idea. I'll put together a deck and send it to you. So I did that, and now it's just kind of a back and forth. But thinking about the value proposition, I think that there's a lot that orgs are missing out on for very cheap. Because I'm sitting here looking at these top 20, top 50, top 60 players, and I'm just kind of wondering, even from a value of an org perspective, is like, okay, you can get this talent for really cheap right now. And you can lock that in at even a fair rate to the player for a year.
Yes.
And TFT Esports in a year looks a lot different than it does 6 months ago in terms of how developed the landscape is. I think Aegis is a big part of that. Not to toot your horn too much, but having this space.
No, go ahead.
Where
Toot our
players,
horn. Keep going.
Yeah, having the
Keep going.
space
Yeah.
with high production value that is continuing to improve, that I've seen firsthand since I've become a part of the community back in November. Right, I've seen leaps and bounds of improvement, and to me, I just feel like a lot of orgs are really behind the frog on this one because they're not seeing the value, and I think it's because they're not looking. Because anyone that has worked in talent scouting for any amount of time in esports should be able to very easily and clearly see the value that throw a dart on the board at ACL, throw a dart on the top 24 board of a previous AML set, right? Like, all these players are going to provide really good value as long as you're setting the correct expectations in their contract and having them stream X amount of hours and paying them X amount of dollars a month. That number is not high. And it's really easy to get your name in front of their name, or get their org name in front of these players' names.
Sure.
So,
and they're playing ridiculous amounts of solo queue, right? So it's like, but like, not only that, but even if you don't see returns now, which is possible and probable, but if you believe TFT is going to continue as an esport, which I think it is, Riot is double downing on it. It looks like it's going to keep improving and getting better. They are getting more staff, getting more positions. Lorence is working on the broadcast right now, which is why he's not here. Replaced him with Ramen Blitz. And then Expired, you're technically the guest with how I did it. So Ramen Blitz is the co-host, you're the guest. Sorry. But like,
my podcast now.
he's out there. Boys is out there. They are in key positions at, working with, Giant Slayer right now to put on the broadcast. And it's like, these positions are continually improving for TFT esports. You see more players trying to get into TFT esports. You see better casters working their way into TFT esports. You even see, like, we have world's caliber casters on our staff that are working to improve TFT esports. Counterfeit literally did the world championship and then casted ACL. Like
it's lit.
He literally did the world championship. Like, you can't get higher than that. And it's like, all these people are trying as hard as they possibly... Protroid. I can't not shout out Protroid. Is trying as hard as he possibly can to improve TFT esports. And it's like, if you see that on the inside, you know it's not going to die. And there is great opportunity for these players that are in desperate need for even a little bit of funding. Even a minute amount of funding, they're in desperate need for it. So, like, why the heck not? Like, if I'm looking at it, if I saw the Defender Cup and I had an esports org, like, I am calling Pitsy right now. Like, I'm not waiting. I don't care about half sets. I don't care when. Like, I'm calling him right now. Like, I'm DMing him while he's playing, hoping that he will respond to me as soon as he opens Discord. Like,
I've got the soundbite.
Please.
To emphasize, right? Even if you have zero belief that TFT Esports is anything more than exactly what it is at face value right now, the value proposition is still insanely high for any org.
Correct. Tier
3 or Tier 1 or anything in between, it does not matter. You can capitalize on it very easily for a very small amount of money. And it's kind of annoying to see that orgs are just passing up on this, and to the point where I'm like, maybe I just start a new org and do it myself, right? Like, it would be so cheap that I could do it very easy. So that's the soundbite, is that even if it's face value right now, no belief, no hopium, no copium, no looking at anything past the roadmap, it's still a good value proposition right now.
Ramen Blitz, any thoughts?
I have to imagine a decent portion of the people in Day 4 of Defenders Cup have never even been approached by an org once yet. And that's just so much free real estate, right?
Yeah.
How do you think I feel?
I don't want to throw out any names, but being like on the inside, there is talent in North America and on the EU side of things. Talent meaning casters, analysts, etc. that don't even know some of these players. Have never spoken with them, have never researched them, know literally nothing unless their name falls into the stream lobby. Have no clue who these players are, and that is mind-boggling to me. Now, in their defense, they don't need to. Like, there's not a need for that. You can not know these players, and you're fine, because you can still storyline players that you know, and that's extremely important to storyline. To have good storylines, storyline players that you know. But I would be willing to argue somebody like Pitsy. I have no idea who the casters are right now, but some of the casters probably have no idea who that player is. Never spoken with them, never DM'd them, no clue who they are. And that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I'm just saying that 5 of the top 8 ACL players right now are free agents. I don't know. There might be something there.
You don't have to tell me twice, Ramen. I'm trying.
Speaking of which, it looks like we are in Game 5 for that, so hopefully people are watching that and cheering them on. Make sure you pop into their stream, Pitsy's stream. They have to stream this event, so I know they're streaming. Don't know what their stream is, but pop into it and check them out. I hope they find their way to the final lobby. But anyways, final thoughts. Moving on to awards. Yeah. On to awards. Now, I didn't prep you guys for this, so you're gonna be on the spot a little bit. High roll and low roll of the week is what it is. It can be TFT related. It can be anything related. High roll, low roll of the week. Did anybody prep it?
Yeah.
Oh, expired. Hit me. What's the high roll of the week, man?
Oh, well, I was gonna start with low roll, to be honest.
What's the low roll of the week, man?
AT&T.
Got him.
Yeah, it's just low roll of the week, AT&T. And my high roll of the week is moving at the end of the month.
Let's go. Same state, right?
Yeah, same city, same state, everything. Just finding the next place and getting into a smaller place, and it'll be cheaper and nicer, and looking forward to it.
Big feels good, man. I'll go to give a little bit of time to Ramen if he didn't have one. But my low roll, Lorence. How dare he leave me during this week? Like, what the heck was he thinking? Sure, I told him he could go, but just what a jerk for leaving us high and dry, going on to Giant Slayer or something for the Worlds event.
Clearly not invested in Aegis.
Clearly not invested. No excuses. Yeah, greatly disappointed in that man. So, high roll is the casters this weekend. I thought they did crushed it. I think the cast has been amazing lately. I'm really proud of them putting it together and continuing to improve, as well as joining us for this set. I've said it before. Last set, it was tough trying to find people to get in to cast, and now we have an entire staff. And it's just been really cool to watch those guys grow, watch them continue to improve, and hopefully get to see them not only stay here but move on to bigger and better things if opportunities reach them. I'm really excited for it. So those guys are my high roll. Ramen, pressure's on, man. High roll, low roll.
I'm in the TFT mindset right now because of ACL. I'm very locked in, so my high roll and low roll are both TFT related.
Love it.
My high roll is probably just my week 1 performance here in ACL. Like, that's just really cool.
Yeah.
I was on a high after that. Like, that was But the low roll was the day after I tanked in solo queue. And not just me, the entire summer camp gang is tanking in solo queue. Me, Jesus Timo, Shy Guy, we are down bad right now. So
you freaking love to see it. I mean, you hate to see it and you love to see it.
Yeah. There's highs and there's lows, and it is what it is, but we'll get back there, hopefully. Corruption Cup, right?
Big Bro Keen's hit 1,000, though. Was he taking all your LP?
Yeah. I think he dropped back down is the thing.
Oh, no.
He's at 937 right now.
Oh, he's back
okay.
then. I think yesterday when I last checked, he was 850.
Okay.
So it's a bit of bouncing, but he's coming back up. I have no doubt that Keen's is going to be like top 32 come Corruption Cup.
Yeah, it does look like today he dropped to 813.
So
he said, well, he's down to 813, but now he's up. He's right now 937. Calling it good. He's looking fresh. Big shout out to Canes there. Hope he
I'm
does
sure
well.
it's fine.
Surely he's gonna do well. Yeah, I think Corruption Cup is gonna be pretty insane. I hope a lot of people push for it. I know I don't get a lot of opportunities to shout out CLE, but I think CLE is a really freaking good player, and I really hope he has an opportunity and time frame to where he can push for one of these cups. I know he really wants to, so I hope he can. He can't put in as much games as a lot of other people can, but holy cow, he's pretty cracked. So
Yeah, I've backseated some of these CLE games. He's pretty good.
Pretty dang good. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely like, I'm not the greatest player, but I can see some flaws, and I think he has noticeable flaws in his gameplay, but I think those noticeable flaws are easy to fix with, time in the game, which time in the game is his biggest struggle. So hopefully he can get some time in the game and fix a little bit of those flaws. But yeah, CLE is one I'm looking for. I hope he makes it to it.
Agree.
One of the last ones here. Question and answers. I'm not sure. I have not actually been watching chat. I don't know if we got any questions coming through. Was there anything through... This is a great opportunity. Was there anything through the week that you guys wanted to talk about in this quick last section? Or anything you noticed and you're like, man, I wanted to bring this up as like a question to pose?
Nothing.
If not, we're at an hour 16, so it's
Nothing
great time to call it too.
Except maybe that you guys should, for your YouTube stream, maybe apply to truffle.tv, because that's a YouTube extension that makes YouTube streams really nice, and maybe you guys could maybe just improve the quality of it.
Send me a link.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Go.
Ramen, is that a Raising Cane's t-shirt?
Oh yeah, you know me. I gotta rep my alma mater, Raising Cane's El Segundo.
First, okay, I see you. That sauce is too good.
Honestly, I haven't been there in literally a year, but I have the shirt, and it's very hyped to have.
When are you coming down here to go to Cane's, dog?
Specifically to go to Cane's?
Yeah, just to go to Cane's with me.
No, I won't even meet you. I'll just go to the Cane's down there.
Just the Cane's down here.
We'll figure it out. Surely I'll have money at some point.
Me too, man.
Here's a question. Should players looking to be sponsored by an OR reach out to them? I'm going to leave this question to expired.
Like the player reaching out to the org?
Yeah.
I think given the lack of visibility, apparently, it wouldn't hurt. This is an open invitation to basically everyone in TFT. That even if you don't know me, like, I'm here to help. So pitch yourself the same way that I would pitch to you as an org owner, right? I'm trying to sell you on the org. You're trying to sell yourself as a player to the org. It works both ways really well. So yeah, reach out. Don't maybe aim for the biggest name you can think of first. Would be my advice. There are a lot of tier 2 orgs out there that have enough budget to pay you well. And tier 1 orgs tend to have a lack of time in general to even see your request. So it's hard to, it's good to keep motivation high, I think. Take your wins where you can get them, for sure.
Do you think there are a lot of good opportunities if you find your way into a tier 2 org to move up to a tier 1 org and possibly get that paycheck?
That is how you move up, in my opinion, because the value you provide as a player is not to sit and do 150 games a week off stream. The player as a player, the value that you are providing to the org is a means of competitive pedigree as well as content. And that second one is the one that is a more direct monetization of you. That's why it's important to sell yourself. And you can work your way up the ladder. Just make sure you're not getting ripped off by orgs. Always bring a real contract to a lawyer if you can afford it. If not, someone like me who has a lot of goodwill in the community, or wants goodwill in the community, right? Like, I feel like everyone in the community has done so much for me as a player that I'm happy to repay that by looking over a contract. You don't want to be locked into something that's predatory. So don't feel desperate. You're just as valuable unsigned as you are signed, if not more.
And we actually do have some lawyers in the Discord. So, fun fact, So if you ever need help, feel free. Just start talking about it in the Discord. Obviously, don't share personal information. But if that's something you need, reach out into the Discord, and I would almost guarantee one of the lawyers we have in the Discord might reach out to you. So I don't want to like drop any names to be like, go to this person, like go to this list, because they probably don't want that. But there is always help, and this community is ridiculously good at almost everything you could possibly think of. If you need a professional in some area of esports, I guarantee you we have a connection. So feel free to reach out.
I'll be reaching out.
Yeah, quite crazy. Yeah, I hope that answers that question. Yeah, I think the whole org conversation is a super fun conversation to have. The one that I'm actually extremely passionate about with the current world's format for TFT. I know we won't dive into format. I want to talk to Lorence and Boyses about that because those guys are the format kings. But yeah, I would love to see a team-based format at some point in the World Championship. I think that would be awesome. And hopefully
Super
get some money in the players' pockets.
That'd be so cool.
It would be something. Anything else you guys want to bring up or slide into outro?
I got none.
Outro it is. Ramen, what do you want to shout out, man?
Shout out to my Twitch, twitch.tv/RamenBlitz. I don't stream. I only stream ACL. So there you go.
Follow the stream. Expired?
Follow me on TikTok, of Twitch, everywhere. Expired SC.
Isn't it ASU expired? Or is it? It's
That's
not ASU
just my
expired?
summer name. I work at ASU at their league program.
Okay.
So I have the league summer name as ASU expired, but all my socials are expired SC, like StarCraft.
Expired StarCraft. Yeah. Shout out to all things Aegis. You guys know where to find us. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on the YouTube channel and supporting us in the change from the Twitches. But thanks so much, everybody. We will see you guys next Sunday. Lorence will probably be back. If not, make sure you spam him, message him on everything. The more hurtful, the better. So make sure you guys spam that in his DMs. He's not here to defend himself, so get after it. Let him know. Don't tell him I sent you. But you guys have a great rest of your night. We'll see you guys next weekend, same time. Have a great one, guys. Peace out, everybody.